Ho, 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 and welcome to day 16 in our Christmas calendar. Today's topic is going to be ads and funnels. Really, one of the scalable ways where you can grow your company by generating leads on demand 24/7. So by the end of this video, you're going to get a full walkthrough of a funnel, how to build the funnel, how to structure it, the psychology behind every step, and how to do the ads to send that traffic into that funnel to generate leads and meetings and appointments for your company. Also, if you stick to the very end, you're going to get a very unique invite that we're only going to give now during the Christmas period in December. If you see this later, it might be that we still have a couple of open slots, so stay along, tag along to the very end, and you're going to be able to get that unique invite. With that, let's just jump in. So this is going to be a fairly long video, and I'm going to put the disclaimer now because there's a lot of ground to cover. So what you can see on the screen now is one of the things that we have to cover. So this is I would say the simple funnel for our Christmas calendar of 2025. So you're going to get some insights into how we structure this, and then we're going to go into a bit of psychology and building blocks for each of the pages. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cover all of this, because one of the things that we really going to cover is that we're going to touch upon quite a bit of topics. So one of the things that we want to go into is we're going to go into some of the building blocks. We want to go into the ad. We want to go into the posts, the resources, the thank you page, the after booking page, the emails. We want to go into the whole thing. So down below this video on the page for day 16, you're going to see the outline, and there are some topics and things in there. We've also built a tool that will help you go through and write the ads, which you then can use. And we also have, throughout the Christmas calendar by this time, have videos and gifts that you can unwrap and access that cover a couple of the other things as well. How to generate the resources and the lead magnets, how to write the emails to then warm up and pre-frame your leads before a meeting, if you do a meeting, and also how to build and run the booking calendar. So really what I want to do is, that was the highlight. I want to now go into this, and I want to actually show you how to build these pages and how they could be structured. So let's dive in. So really the entire flow starts with, you have an ad, and the ad can look in a lot of different ways. So the ad that we have here is me sitting almost in the same type of clothes. I just changed the t-shirt, but basically the same framing as we have now. I'm just a bit more zoomed out on that video. I run that as a video ad, and this is the text. That ad links a landing page, and this landing page looks like this. So you have a headline, which basically goes into the benefits, the outcome, what someone can expect. And really, there are a couple of ways of doing the headline. So you can do the headline in a couple of ways. The first way you can do the headline is you can set it up as a how to achieve X with mechanisms Y in a certain time frame. Personally, I'm not too big of a fan of timeline guarantees or timeline claims, but it could be a lot of different ways. For example, one thing that we could do here for another type of lead magnet, which is how we run LinkedIn posts to generate leads, we could run a headline, the strategy or the methodology that has generated 55,000 leads in under 12 months. However, we have that as one of the things here. So there are several ways you can do the headline. Basically, you have the headline, then you have the sub-headline, which kind of backs it up, adds a bit more context to it. Then you have an image, which typically should visualize something. Then you have 3 bullet points. And the 3 bullet points in this example, you want them to touch upon 3 different things. So the first bullet point, you should introduce the opportunity. So the thing that you're presenting for someone as a great thing. And in this case, it's a methodology of generating 55,000 leads. The second thing is, if someone sees the opportunity, their mind will automatically go, that's an amazing opportunity, but I don't know how to use it or how to exploit it, or I don't have the skills, which is why bullet point number 2 wants to address the skills. Once you then have addressed the skills is, amazing opportunity. I now have the skills, but where the heck do I start? And that's why the third bullet points want to go into how to get them accelerated and started today. So that could be the 3-step checklist to get started today, something that eases and reduces the uncertainty of how long does it take for me to actually start doing this. So those are really the core components of a landing page. And they could look a lot of different ways. What we've also added here is that we've added 3 videos or testimonials or results from clients with a headshot of each of the clients, and then add some credibility to the page. And we also added another form at the bottom, because if people scroll all the way down, we don't want them to scroll up to see it. One other thing that we've added here is that we added social signals, so social proof pop-ups. So we have a social sign-up pop-up at the very bottom that shows the name of the person that signed up X amount of time ago. So Fred signed up for the calendar 21 hours ago, and then we have John sign up, and Tommy sign up, and Sophia sign up. So this pops up, and it gives that additional social proof that people are actually requesting and signing up for this. So if people then opt in and they fill out their contact details on that page, they basically get to the thank you page. And the thank you page has a couple of different purposes. So the thank you page, among others, is to confirm that they've gotten the thing that they wanted them to get, and to prime them for the next step in our funnel. So a funnel is really just a preset of steps, preset of activities or pages that we want to bring someone through that takes them from a cold stranger to a buying customer or a book meeting. So really, what we want to do on the thank you page is that we can do it in a couple of ways. So one, we can have a version like you have on the page, which here it is. So the very one here is, welcome to the Christmas calendar, access all gifts here. Another way of doing this is you can have just your sign up, the thing has been sent to your email, and then you can have a video, which we call a VSL, pitching the service, pitching the next step, which brings them to the next step in your sales process, which in most cases, if you sell to other businesses, is going to be booking a call. If you run a SaaS, that should probably be sign up for a demo or sign up immediately. So there are different ways of running that. We are kind of breaking all the rules, and that is because we have a lot of metrics and data and experience to do this, because we run these types of funnels and campaigns since 2011, and we've generated with clients more than $15 million from just doing this. But what we do, and kind of like the cardinal rule for those pages, is that you only want one call to action. There's only one activity we want them to do. And in most cases, that's click here to start now, click here to book a call, click here to apply, click here to sign up. We're kind of giving them 3. And one is, hey, access the resources here. Secondly, we give them a bonus in terms of get access to our Telegram channels to then be able to get more. And then we have a VSL and a booking, like, hey, watch this video and then book. And this is like a 34-minute video. So we're kind of breaking all the rules, but we know that if we have someone landing on this page, they will net us about $50 to $100 in revenue every time they land on one. So we get one into this page, that's basically the revenue that we make. So those are really the first couple of steps. And that's a very, very simple funnel. Now, the question is, if someone books, we have the post-booking process. But there is another type of page that we just want to very quickly highlight, and that is the VSL page. And the VSL page is basically a website where you just have that video that pitches your service, that pitches the structure, methodology, and the strategy that you sell and help companies implement with a booking calendar. And this is basically then going through, showing social proof, actual videos of clients and myself, going through what they got of results. And then it's the full methodology laid out in text as well. So if someone wants to read, they'll be able to do that. At the very end, again, it's a booking calendar. So there are several ways for people to then book a call. You can give them a resource where they opt in to get their said thing, or it could be a VSL page that goes directly to booking. In some cases for B2B, it makes sense to go through the lead magnet. In some cases, it makes sense to go through the VSL or the video, which then pitch the booking. If you go to video and only that, you're not generating leads. So you can't warm them up and basically prime them and build a relationship on email. you're just going to get the bookings. If you do lead generation first, you're going to get leads, which you can nurture over time and convert to booking as time goes on. If you collect phone number and you have a team and staff that can pick up the phone and call them, that's highly recommended. But the quality of those bookings will vary depending on different things. But let's say that you now have a booking. Then you get to the after booking page. So a lot of companies that I see, I get mad whenever I see this. And that is, if I click in, I find a resource, I book a call, I just get the confirmation message inside of Calendly, Cal, or a different booking provider. That's very, very bad. And that's just plain stupid, to put it that way. And the simple reason is because when someone has booked the time with you to speak with you in your company, you have their utmost full attention. If you just say, booking confirmation, see you at X time, you lose that attention. You lose that interest. You lose all that thing. So what you want to do is that you want to funnel that to the next step. What we always do is that we send them to a thank you page after booking. So, hey, your meeting has been scheduled, but there's another task. That task in almost all cases is answering a form or submitting a form. That form gives us a lot more details and understanding about the prospect, about the lead. We can do some more research and we can see if they're qualified or not. So we can look at the commonalities of the qualified leads, unqualified leads, and we can see are they qualified or not. And we typically tend to cancel all the calls with those who are not qualified, and then we send them a huge goodie bag of valuable resources, which could get them to the point where they are qualified later on. And the reason for that is that we only work with companies that are at a certain scale, and the strategies that we have would only make sense for someone at a certain scale to start implement. It's a waste of time and a distraction for those that are not at the scale or the, let's say, the point where this makes sense. So we can then qualify a lead based on qualified or not qualified or semi-qualified. We might take the call, we might not take the call. And that way we can protect the time of those that we have in the company that takes those calls. Because what we've seen is that we can easily book more than 20 meetings a week, 30, 40, 50 meetings a week through paid ads or other sources just running that type of setup. And if 50 of those, and let's say 15 are qualified, it doesn't make sense to have 50 calls booked in the calendar. Also because that's not feasible in the long term, given a 2, 3, 4 call sales process. So that's really the thank you page. Once someone then has submitted that form, they get to a form thank you page, and that's where we just give them all of the different things. We set the expectations for the call and what they can expect. Now, this is a bit of the flow, and the reason why I'm showing you the flow is simply due to the fact that if you start running ads without having the backend of this setup, you will lose out. Because one of the things that we also do is that we have emails. I'm not going to zoom in and go through all of these. We have typical emails that we set up. A couple of those have been defined earlier in the Christmas calendar. You can see that down below in the guide below this video. But basically, we have 4 or 5 emails that we always have. We have the confirmation email after booking, where we basically tell them, hey, go and fill out the form, and this is also how we're going to have the meeting. And for us, that's soon. Then we have the 60 minutes ahead of time reminder, which is kind of like, hey, looking forward to the call. We're meeting in an hour. Here's the link to join. And then we have the programming emails. And the programming emails are kind of like addressing what mindset and belief and conviction do I want those that I'm going to speak to have when they show up for the call. That will make 1, them actually show up, 2, them being warmer, and 3, way easier to close. Because there are things that I can make someone believe ahead of the call that can make them way easier to close. Because sales really is that I want them to have the same type of conviction about the strategy and the system and methodology that I want to give them and provide to them as I have. So for us, we want someone to believe that referrals are amazing, but it's unpredictable for scale because you can't scale referrals. 2, if you don't own your infrastructure, you're basically renting it. So if you're having an outside agency do work for you, you don't own it, because if they stop or you fire them or they basically let you go, you're left with almost nothing. And third thing is, if you want to segment your leads, it's highly valuable using AI to that, to qualify them, segment them based on activity and triggers so that you can focus your time on the right leads. If I get someone to believe all those three, we don't need to do a lot of convincing during our calls because it makes sense. Because ultimately, if you want to grow, referrals are amazing, but you can't really scale. You don't have control. They're unpredictable, but amazing. Second thing, you want to own your own infrastructure because then you can, no matter who actually clicks the buttons, you own the system, you own the setup, and it just runs. And three, if you have a ton of leads, you want to know who should put your efforts into, and you want to save the time of your sales team so that they don't waste time on unqualified leads or people that doesn't even engage at all. So all of those things just make sense. How can you do that before your sales calls? So we have 5 emails. We know people that run 10, 15, 18 emails before the call. So like 6 a day for 3 days. It's all about priming them, making them think and believe the same things as you so that the sales call will just be easier. So I'm covering all of this simply due to the fact that it's a whole thing. And the ads themselves are a bit different. So what I want to do now is I actually created a couple of things for you. So, but before that, I just want to open the pages. So this is, you can access all of these pages. You can pause, you can take the URL and open them. And you can run it that way. You have the Visal page, you have the after booking page, and you have the after form page. But one thing that I want to also go into are the ads. So if I now have this page, there are a couple of things that I really want to cover. So if I go actually to the page now that you're on, I want to give you a couple of walkthroughs in terms of, I've covered a bit about the funnel. So it's a step-by-step process. People come on the ad, they click on the ad, they come to the landing page. There's really just one option in there, and that is fill out your details, and that's that. There's no links, there's no menu, there's nothing of distractions. It's just one action you can do. Or you could leave the page. And then you get to the thank you page. That's the simplest form of that of a funnel. And one thing that is really important for you to get in place is you should have a resource. You should have something that you can give away to catch their attention, to make them opt in and give something. And this is ultimately just a bribe. You kind of bribe them for their contact details. Like, if you give me your contact details, I'm going to give you this thing for free. But it kind of is not free because you get the contact details. But it needs to be an equal exchange. So one additional aspect to that is if you have a resource and if you have a video that, let's say, is half an hour, and this video is probably going to be that, is, let's say that you're selling to a CEO that has a annual or hourly salary of $500 to $1,000 an hour. Is the resource you have made, which takes them 30 minutes to consume, worth that amount in dollars? Or in just, if someone were to pay for it, would it be valued on that? Would someone be willing to pay for that? And I would say that this video is like 14 years of accumulated knowledge about how to run ads and how to build funnels, and how to generate leads and convert them. So I would definitely say that it's a compressed 14 years of work. So you can ask them the same question in terms of how long time would it take someone to consume the thing I have. If that is valued at the time and the hourly rate of those that I want to reach, if you tick that box, yes, then you have something that is valuable. And we have a day in the Christmas calendar, day 4, which you can click and find here, that address how to create those valuable resources and guides. And if you want to have access to different alternatives of these resources, we have a full directory which you can click here and open. It might take some time to load because there's quite a lot of lead magnets and guides in here, which has all of our resources. It doesn't have the Christmas calendar of this year, but it has 131 resources in here. And at this point in the last 12 months, we really created 170 different ones, like 24 for last year's Christmas calendar and 24 for this year's Christmas calendar. And we're still creating these. So we're still just at day 16. So there's like 8 more days. We have white papers, we have 40-page long guides, we have videos that are 10 minutes, videos that are 2 hours, we build prompts, software platforms, tools, etc. The format doesn't really matter when it comes to the resources, as long as it's valuable and it helps someone get something. And the bottom line and the thing that you have to make sure of with every lead magnet is that it should help address and help solve a very specific pain or problem that your audience has, because that's what makes something valuable. That's the irrefutable law that you can't really change. Now for the paid ads. So I'm actually going to scroll through this here, because one thing that you really want to do when it comes to paid ads is you want to make them not look like ads. So I want to give you an example. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. So this guy, this is Sabri Subi. He is a really, really good marketer, and I find him to be a really good example to exemplify this without not just showing what I do, but what someone else does. This guy has sold, he runs a marketing agency in Australia that has sold for their clients, I believe now more than $15 billion in sales. So this guy knows what he's doing. And I'm going to ask you, does this look like an ad? I wouldn't say so. Like internet daddy and selfie in the mirror, it doesn't look like an ad because it doesn't look polished. The thing though is that it looks authentic. It looks raw. It looks human. It looks like an actual selfie that someone took in the mirror, and that puts our guard down. And since we then put the guard down, people won't automatically put this in the bucket of ad. And if you want to look at more of Sabri's posts and ads, you can click the link here, which will take you to this page. This page might look different depending on when you're visiting this. This is recorded on the 8th of December. So he has 56 examples in here, which none of them really looks like ads. Some of them might, but not really. Like, look at this one. Like, if I zoom in on this one, it's Grandpa Sabri. So who would run that as a paid ad? Like if you're a company, it's not professional enough, and that's a bit of the trick. You don't want to run something that looks like an ad. So really, an ad has a couple of sections. You have the hook, which is a call out for the audience, addressing their pain, their desire, struggle, or something that catches their attention. Then you have the bridge, which is a transition section for the something to come. It's something relatable. It's that you relate to the pain and lead them into the next thing. Then you have the reveal, which is, in this case, we are really creating and giving them something for free. So we want to reveal what we want them to give them. And that could be for us, it could be the Christmas calendar. For someone else, it could be something else. It changes. And then you have the value. And the value is really kind of like, look at the 3 bullet points that we had on the landing page. The opportunity, the skills, and the how to get started now. We want to add those in because those are immediately making them and answering the subconscious objections that someone have in terms of, why should I even bother with this? Oh, it should be a really, really good opportunity. It's a good opportunity, but I don't have the skills to do it. Here you have the skills. Okay, it's an amazing opportunity. I have the skills, but I have no freaking clue where to start. Here's the Getting Started guide. So it addresses those subconscious objections that come through the path of trying to persuade them into this is something really, really good. Then you have the proof, which is, okay, it's a good opportunity. I have the skills. I know where to start, but does it really give results? Hence, we show some proof. And an example is the systems and actually the thing that I'm teaching you today has resulted in more than $15 million in sales for companies in the past few amount of years. And also the thing that we're going to share in another guide that we have, it's really the system that generated 55,000 leads without $1 in ads in the past 12 months. So you can basically use those types of results and those types of things to build credibility and proof that a thing actually works. And then you have the call to action, which basically is you explicitly telling them what to do, which is click down below, see the page, sign up, and get access now. Because people need to be told what to do. And for us to make it as simple as possible for you to build this and create and write these ads, we actually built a custom tool and a custom software for you called PandaAds. It's free to use from our side, but you would need an API key with OpenRouter to just run the AI generations. But really, this is a tool that you're going to do this in. So what I'm going to do is, and one of the really big things with PandaAds is that you can emulate and clone an ad style. So, for example, I highly recommend you to actually copy Sabri Subi's ad style and his type of writing for his ads inside of PandaAds. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do that now. I'm going to open PandaAds. I'm going to go through the process. So once you're inside, the only thing that you need to do is you need to go to settings, API keys, click this link, get signed up with OpenRouter, and go to Docs, create a new API key, copy paste it in, and add an update, and then you're ready to go. Then you need to add in your company. So I have added my company, just the homepage website. This will automatically then go through and scrape it. You can write summary, and then you're good to go. And then on the writing styles, I'm actually now going to clone Sabri Subi style. Sabri Subi add style. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add in about 7 different styles of ads. So I'm going to add be the thing. So add, and add. So now I want to go to the ads library, where I then can take these posts. And I want to then take this, mark it all, and I go in here and paste it. And then I want to find those who are different. So I'm going to take all of this, take it, and again, this isn't the actual post. This is actually just the writing style, and that's it. As you see, his ads are ridiculously long because he's using emotional storytelling. So that's the same ad as those. That's the same. That's the same. That's another one. Let's see if this is a new one. Yes, this is another one. And as you can see, they're very, very long. And that's actually nice because that gives us a lot of data on what he's writing like. So I'm going to go through, and this is the last one. So what I then do is I hit create and clone style, which then will save this type of writing style to my PandaAds, and I can start writing those types of ads based on the resources and lead magnets that I have. So one thing that I'm going to show you is that I'm going to show you the process of actually writing that type of style for today's Christmas calendar. So I'm going to take the full content of today's calendar, and I'm going to paste that into PandaAds as soon as we have that style written. So, but before we go through that, we've already covered the landing page. Again, I highly recommend you to also read this. In terms of the couple of things, we share the social proof, testimonials. One thing that you also can do, but it's not recommended if you run ads from Meta, is add an exit intent pop-up. That's basically a pop-up that shows when someone tries to leave the page, like they bring the cursor up to the tabs to click the X. Then they got that. Also, countdown timers is a really good way to optimize the page to get more conversions. And that's really, for example, relevant if you have a time-based offer, or if you have, let's say, a webinar that runs at a certain point in time because it's live. And then you have the thank you page. We already covered that. And then you have the booking page. And really one thing that I want to just cover before we go into the ads is that on the page where you have the booking calendar, you always want to have the booking calendar embedded on the page and not a link click to the actual booking calendar and then back again, because that click loses you a lot of the traffic. The other thing that you also want to do is that for the booking form, you always want to have a field called source, which is hidden. And then you want to make sure that you have a URL parameter. So basically in the URL, you have kind of like a question mark source equals, and then you have a value. For example, if I get to this page from, let's say, email, I add an email and what email it is. For example, we send 3 emails a week to our list. So I would do, for example, today on the 8th, so 08/12/25 email. And that way I know that if people get to this page and then they book, I know that that's the source. So I can attribute the source to see where should I put more our effort and where do I need to, let's say, optimize. Rule 3 is you always want to have 2 to 3 information gathering questions in your booking form. For example, for us, we sell B2B. Getting someone's LinkedIn profile is immensely valuable for us because we can then go about and do some research. We can go online, find their LinkedIn profile, find the company, get more details about them, and also potentially draft a lot of things for them before the call. And your booking page should always redirect to a thank you page. We also cover the reminder emails, and we also have a day in the Christmas calendar which you can visit to then get those emails drafted for you. Now, Going back to PandaAds, we have Sabri Subi ad style written. So what I then want to do is I want to go to ads and I want to go to day 16 demo. So I have a folder for that. Now I want to generate an ad. So what I want to do is I want to take all of the content on day 16. I want to paste that in and I want to give it some context. I'm just removing some different things. Content guide. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to zoom in a bit, is I am writing just hashtag content and guide, and then I'm going to do hashtag task. So hashtag task is really what I want to do. So I want you to write me a emotional story-based ad for Facebook in the style that promotes the guide on this page. We will have a landing page that people will get to once they click this ad. I want the ad text and headline and suggestion for imagery. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my company. I'm going to do the writing style of Sabri Subi. The tone, I don't really want to change that. So target audience is the B2B founders who are expert marketers. And I'm going to generate one. The beauty as well in here, since we're using OpenRouter, is that you can search and use all of the LLMs available in OpenRouter. And as you can see, it's quite a lot. You have everything from OpenAI, you have everything from Google in terms of Gemini, you have Anthropic with Claude, and you have a lot of the other models as well. So if I click generate ad, this is going to then start generating an ad based on all of this content, and it will use the story-based style of Sabri Subi. And we also have already added in, we have 5 other styles added to this tool so that you can use these if you want to, and you can see how each of those perform. So it might take up to a minute to generate this. Again, just give it time. And now it's already generated one. So headline, stop burning your cash on LinkedIn ads. As you can see, this is fairly long. So ad copy, look, I won't beat around the bush here. If you're a B2B founder and dumping your marketing budget into LinkedIn ads, you might as well open a window and throw your wallet out on the highway. It sounds harsh, but someone had to say it. Because right now, LinkedIn CPMs are insane. You're paying a premium just to be ignored by people in suits. The gurus will tell you that B2B buyers only live on LinkedIn. They're lying. Your buyers are human. They have lives. They check their phones on the weekend. They scroll Instagram. They check Facebook. But here's the kicker. We're generating qualified B leads on Meta for 10 to 20 times less than it costs on LinkedIn. Yes, you read that right. And then it goes into, so this is a really, really good copy to just bring you in into what this really is. And it gives it a name, it goes through and through and through and through, and click the link, get the strategy, load the funnel, and watch what happens. Go here and link. And this is basically adding also, like talk to you soon, PS, this isn't just theory. And it gave me a couple of suggested imagery, like visual style, high raw contrast, ugly but authentic, which is interesting. So option 1, the flowchart. A zoomed out, slightly messy screenshot of the actual funnel flowchart mentioned in the text, the one with arrows connecting ads to landing pages to emails. Overlay with a red right arrow pointing out to the booking section with the text yellow box say, steal this system. That's actually really good. And I haven't actually done this, taken those from Sabri and generated this before this video, so this is freaking damn good. Option 2, the anti-ad, a simple text-based image in on a plain background like Twitter or X screenshot or a Notes app screenshot that reads LinkedIn ads that equals $200 CPM, Meta ads is $10 CPM, stop burning money. Option 3, the founder, a candid non-studio photo of you, Harold Lassa, holding a printed version of the guide, pointing at the whiteboard with a mouse, 10 times cheaper, written on it, no stock photos, authentic, creative business aesthetics. So here, I actually have 2 really good ones, the flowchart and the founder. So this is how you can generate one. So I now save that. If I want to rerun that and generate more, I can just do that. I can hit same model, I can do another model, and then just generate more combinations and more ads for this. So that's really how you can generate those types of ads. Now the question is, what do you do next? And next, you really have the ads. So I'm actually going to show you step by step how to set up one of those ad campaigns. So one thing now is that we have one of those ad campaigns running. So I'm actually going to show that one. We started running this a couple of days ago, so it's very, very early, but I'm going to then go through the process of how to do this. This is about, let's see, this is about $7.68 per lead. So what we have is that we have an ad campaign that is running at $50 a day, so 500 NOK, because I'm Norwegian, I'm based in Oslo, Norway. And that's really the setup first. So I have a campaign, it's $500 a day, and I use campaign budget as one. And within this ad campaign, we started actually running a lookalike audience, meaning we take all the leads that we already had, we run them to Facebook with a 1% lookalike in the States, and we paused it because the initial metrics were too bad. So what we did is that we created a all audiences and B2B jobs. So we took this and we set up that we run this towards people in Austria, Canada, Switzerland, a lot of different countries, 25 age, and they should be in all of these different roles and jobs. And then inside of this ad, we have the different ads. So for example, this one is the higher performing one, which I took a screenshot of, which is already showing this guy. And it links the page. It has the text. So want to grow your B2B company. That's how it's structured. So you saw the text, free guide, grow your company with AI. And down below, we have a source. So remember how I took booking and source? Because the thank you page after the landing page, so when they opt in, they get the thank you page. On that, we have a booking calendar. And I want to see which ad someone booked from. So I can create this by myself by clicking build a URL parameter. And if I add one, I can hit value. And in here I have campaign ID, ad set ID, ad ID, campaign name, ad set name, ad name, placement. And what I've done is that I've built this. So I've built a one that has campaign name dash ad set name dash ad name dash ad ID dash placement, so that I can see what campaign name, what ad set or group or audience, what ad, the ID of the ad, and also where they saw the ad in terms of feed, in terms of what place they saw it. And I'm going to show you how that looks. So in our page builder that we built, we have the landing page here. And for submissions, I can then see the source. So I can then see where people came from. So if I go back to the ads again, I will then be able to, I'm going to close this charge draft. So the way that I set this up, I go to campaign, I hit create, I go to leads, continue. I'm just going to go through the setup with you. So if I wanted to run, let's say day 16. So Christmas calendar day 16, run one demo. I'm going to do campaign budget. I'm going to set this to 250, which is $25 a day. I'm going to go next. I'm going to do Europe, EU plus the United States, 25 plus, founder jobs, and plus marketing related interests. So, and again, there's plenty of ways to run the ads. I'm going to do website and calls. I'm going to change this to my pixel. I'm going to set conversion to lead. Actually, website, single website. That's how I want to do it. Conversion is lead. And we can set the schedule, we can set the control. So again, you can do a lot of controls. So one thing that I tend to do is that I go back to further limit reach. I'm going to set all of this manually. So here, let's do the countries. So Sweden, Denmark, United Kingdom, Ireland, France, Germany, Austria, Netherlands, United States, Canada. Let's see if we want a couple of other countries, because we want Switzerland, Belgium. Let's add Poland, because Poland is the fastest growing economy in Europe. Yeah, then that's that. Let's change the age to 25. I'm gonna make that up to 60, not use a suggestion. We are gonna do detailed targeting, and in here we're gonna do a lot of job roles. So co-founder, CEO, founder, managing director, chairman, managing director, owner, founder. So we're gonna add in a bunch of these. And they should all be job titles, because that way they're actually going to have that as a role and on the company or on the profile. You don't want stuff like own business, simply due to the fact that that's a bit too broad. So that's one. If we click define further, anyone that has any of these and what we're adding now will then be the target audience. So I'm going to do digital marketing. And then we can see what other recommendations we get. We do online advertising. Let's do social media marketing. Then do advertising agency. We're going to do then also content marketing. And then what you also will then see most likely is that you will see a audience definition, which is narrow to broad, and you will see an estimated audience size. And if you really want to scale, you want this to be in the millions. But now we don't really want that, so because it's a very, very targeted audience. So we're going to let that be, and then click next. So now we have the audience. Now it is the ad. So I'm going to do Sabri ad 1. Now we're actually going to take the one that we created in PandaAds. I'm going to take that ad and we're going to create an ad from it. So I'm going to do no add-ons. The creative, we're going to add image ad. Setup creative image ad. And then we are going to do media. I already have a screenshot of the flow. So let me see if I can find that one. Here you go. Let's do that. That's an ugly one. It doesn't have the arrow on it though. So that is something that I probably want to add in for the second version. But now we're just going to do this quickly. And there we go. There we go. There we go. And hit next. The headline, we're going to do that. We're going to take the copy text. We're going to add that primary text. And then now we want to change this. So we just want to change that. Day 16. We want to take the link for that to the landing page. There you go. And then we want to hit, let's say, download. We don't want to have any of those AI generated ones. Then hit next. Skip and continue. We just gonna hit done. And then we have the ad. So that's really then the text. It's super long. It's really, really nice. And now we want to add the URL parameter. So I hit add parameter and I do source. Then I do campaign name. I add a dash. I mark it and I copy it out. I add ad name and I add it again before it. Then I do it like this. I added ad set 2 times, so it is ad name. There you go. Then it's ad ID, because an ID doesn't change. The name might change, and then placement. And you can see down below, so source, campaign name, ad set name, ad ID, and placement. If I then hit apply, that's good. Now, the one thing that is missing is the link to the landing page. So basically the page that we want to send someone to. So this is then day 16-LP. I'm just going to open that and check. Yep, that's the landing page. And display link can be the same. And that's really it. So if I hit publish, this is then going to go into review, and then it is going to be, once it's reviewed, it's going to be polished and running. So one thing that I haven't really covered is how I build those landing pages. So I have a landing page here where I have these things, but actually let's go to day 16 because that's the one that we are using now. So day 16, and this is really the page. So I've added the things that I want, and what I've done here as well is that we use Encharge for email. So I've set up a connection to Encharge, and also I've added the redirect URL for this. So you might not actually see this behind my face. So I'm going to put this up and scroll a bit. There we go. So you can then see the redirect URL, and what I've also done there is that I've added the source, so day 16 LP. So really, this is how I have this set up so that it connects to the thank you page. And also, as you can see here, I have the source, hidden source and field for this actual form as well. What I've also done is that I've added the enable live sign up toasts, which then says name sign up a time ago, which will show in the bottom right corner. So if I preview toast, you will see that down below here. Again, you won't see that because I'm in the way. So let me bring that up. Hit preview toast. Oh, still not. And bring here. There you go. So here you can see the signed up. So this will then show whenever someone loads the page, and the more people that sign up, the more that are actually going to show in that list. So that's really the page that we built. Again, this isn't a video to showcase how to build all of the pages. It's more showcasing you how you can put all of this together and how the full architecture is. And that's really how you can use it. I've shown you the ads, I've shown you the process, I've shown you and told you the things to think about, and recommend you to just read all of this again, because this is basically 14 years of experience packed into one. And really, it is, there are things that can't really be shared, but these are the things. If you get these things right, you're going to be able to really print and make your ads really high performing ones. So, but this is just one part. As I've gone through a lot of the other things as well, there are things that I haven't had time to go into detail because I don't want to make this like a 5-hour video. We're already at 47 minutes. So what I would actually invite you to do is down below, there is a calendar where you can schedule a call with us. And that call is really us giving you a one-to-one walkthrough of how the entire setup could work for a company. That's not just having the ads, but how to get, or what type of lead magnets to get in place, how to generate the leads, not just from ads, but also organic, how to nurture those leads that you generate, because a lot of people won't even book a call immediately. How do you follow up to actually ensure that they book a meeting long term? And really how to nurture them and segment them so that you can focus your efforts on those that really actually engage and stop worrying about those who never engage. So we have had a lot of those walkthroughs. We had a lot of those, let's say, strategy suggestions for companies like yours. It's more than 200 at this point. And what we hear often is that people say this is the most valuable time spent getting a personalized strategy because it really makes sense. It's also, we gotten people that this is genius. I spent more than 20 years in business and I have never really heard anyone put it this way. And also, we have clients that have said that you guys are the only ones that have really been able in the past 10 years to actually set something up for me that works. And we also have a client called James that generated more than $180,000 in revenue within a couple of short months, just implementing the system that we use behind all this. So if you want a suggestion, if you want us to, let's say, dive into your company and give you actual recommendations, no questions asked and no strings attached, you can schedule a call like that down below. But those calls are not for everyone. As I said previously in this video as well, the systems and the strategies and the methodologies that we have built in the past decade, they don't fit every type of company. A company needs to be at a certain scale. They need to have a certain persona profile. They need to have a certain product and audience. And if you book a call, you will need to fill out a form, and we will gauge if the strategy and methodology is a match to your company. If it isn't, we're going to cancel. We're going to send you a lot of different resources that will be helpful for you now, and you can go with that, and then you can get back to us later. If you do qualify, or if your company qualifies for the methodology in itself, and this isn't us just letting you go because we don't like you, it's just it doesn't make sense for you to be distracted doing this now. But if it makes sense for your company, we will have a call and we will suggest you and scope out how all of this could work for your company and how we will do it for you. And if you want to hire us, of course, we are open to that. You will be able to leave that call with the recommendations from us so that you can take that and just run with it. But know that we've spent more than 10,000 hours mastering this art. So if you are not a marketer, it will take you a lot of time and trial and error. And it might make sense to get someone to do it, because if you save, let's say, 6 to 12 months trying this out yourself, that might make a lot of sense in terms of just what can we help you make in those 6 to 12 months. So really with that, I wish to wrap up this recording because we're at more than 50 minutes at this point. If you want to have a call with us, you're open and welcome to do so. You can click down below and schedule one of those calls, but fill out all of the information. If you don't, we're also going to cancel it. If you don't going to schedule a call, I hope this was useful, and I wish you the best of luck. Go crazy with PandaAds. You can use it as much as you want. Share it with your friends. Clone different styles and go batshit crazy with it. Then that warms our B2B Santa heart. But with that, B2B Santa checking out. I wish you a great rest of your day and a Merry Christmas, and good luck creating your ads and funnels.